The latest on local COVID-19 numbers. Huntsville's chamber exec stuck in Costa Rica. And Deerhurst is shut down. What comes next? All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Cogeco News for Wednesday, March 18th. I'm James Bowler. Here's what's happening in your community. First off, the latest on COVID-19 infections in the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. Health officials say a man in his 60s is the 5th patient in this region to be confirmed to have the virus. He visited Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital on March 16th and was tested for the virus. He has been in self-isolation since. So that's 5 confirmed cases, one of them the first death in the province as well. No confirmed cases specifically in Muskoka or within the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit. On the national stage today, Justin Trudeau announced new financial help with an $82 billion aid package and help for those on the most local levels.
Let's start with people who don't qualify for employment insurance and don't have access to paid sick leave. Our government will introduce the Emergency Care Benefit, which will provide money every 2 weeks to workers who have to stay home. People will receive this benefit for 14 weeks for an amount comparable to what would be paid through EI. This applies to people who fall ill, people who've been placed in quarantine or have to self-isolate. It also applies to those who have to take care of a family member with COVID-19, but, as I said, fail to qualify for EI. If you lose your job and you do not qualify for EI, we will be introducing a COVID-19 emergency support benefit to help you. This will apply also to people who are self-employed and have to close shop because of the virus. Our government will take additional steps to protect jobs. We will provide employers of small businesses with a temporary wage subsidy equal to 10% of salary paid to employees for a period of 3 months. This will encourage employers to keep staff on the payroll during these uncertain times. For those who've filed their taxes and find out that they owe money, they will have until August 2020 to pay. Parents already know how much the Canada Child Benefit helps with the costs of raising kids. To take some of that pressure off, our government will temporarily boost the CCB in the coming months.
Joining me in studio today is Mayor Karen Terziano. Thank you very much, Karen. How are you doing down there? You're very far away from me right now.
I guess we're practicing social
We
distancing.
are. Joking aside, this is a very important message that we're trying to send, that we are, supporting the social distancing, message that's been going out. So, yeah. Anyways, Karen, last night you guys had your last council meeting for a bit, probably at least a month before you guys reconvene.
Well, we did meet and cancel the March cycle. The funny thing that happened just before we met last night is we were on a conference call with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs, and one of the things they're actually doing this week is calling back the legislature, and they're talking about giving us the ability to meet electronically. So we may not be shut down. We won't know until they see whether that passes, and then we don't even know what it'll look like. But we may be back up and running maybe early April if need be.
That's good news, because I know there are still matters that need to be attended to in terms of municipal, matters that happen in the area. So let's talk about last night's meeting. Tell me a bit about what was discussed.
You know what, it was a pretty quick meeting. We wanted to do a couple of things. We wanted to ratify some bylaws, pass some bylaws from the planning committee meeting that had happened earlier in the month. And we wanted to make sure that we passed a new delegation of authority bylaw to give our CAO a few more powers should council not be able to meet in the future, so that we don't actually run into any snags of not being able to do things.
Mm-hmm. So, a bit of an update in terms of the municipal side of things. Town hall is closed. Municipal offices or municipal buildings are closed.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about behind that decision.
Well, that decision was pretty easy for us to make after we closed the other facilities back on Friday. As far as all programming went and everything, and we saw how quiet things were over the weekend, and then we saw how things were ramping up first thing Monday morning. So we started our discussions as to when to close town hall. And we settled on noon Tuesday. All staff were aware that that was going to happen, and we have sent home as many staff people as we can that can work from home remotely. So it's not that they're not working, it's just that as many people are out of the building as possible.
Tell me about the public works situation. So there is stuff that does need to be done around the town. Right now, I'm assuming that's still, business as usual. Is there a situation where we could see a sort of de-inclination de-escalation, I should say, sorry, of that service?
Well, I think that would only happen if we ended up actually getting a positive case within our Public Works crew. We have 2 crews. We keep them separate so that if something happened within one crew, we have a backup crew that could still work.
Okay.
Our guys are they're probably practicing as much social distancing as we are right now. Sometimes there's 2 in the cab of a truck. But they're being as careful as they can, sanitizing and washing up as much as they can, but still getting out and doing the jobs that have to be done.
And we did recently talk about transit. I had this conversation with Graydon as well. He was telling me, just to give you some perspective, he was telling me, that's a fluid situation in terms of what might happen. Where are you sitting right now with transit?
We're sitting, our operations are going, ridership is down. Not as many people are going out, and hopefully that's because there's not as many places to go to.
Yeah.
We will look at that each and every day, and I know that we're concerned about the ability for somebody to pay for a transit pass, so I think they're going to be pretty lenient on transit fares right now.
Is there a practice in place to make sure those buses are cleaned constantly? Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Because I know that's a concern too. The germaphobe in me tells me.
I'm walking around with hand sanitizer in my pockets, and every time you touch something, it's another wash up. So
yeah. And you alluded to this quickly. Let's talk about businesses downtown. Obviously, a lot of them are closing right now. Yeah. Just tell me your thoughts and feelings on that.
Well, when the province declared the state of emergency, all restaurants and bars had to close unless they were providing takeout only. And I think that's great. I'm glad the province actually did that. It takes that hard decision out of the business owners' hands that way. And many of them are still providing takeout, and that's great. The rest of the retail business, the choice right now is up to them. I know some are shortening their hours, and some are actually closing as well. I feel for them because a lot of businesses, they're kind of month to month, and this is going to really hurt them. I've seen stats posted that maybe 25% of businesses in Canada won't survive this. So we're cognizant of the fact that this is going to be tough on our downtown, our retail, our restaurants, and we'll be looking as things move along. How long this impact lasts, and if there's anything we can do to help. And we know that the federal government and provincial government are there doing the same thing. So,
all right. Well, Karen, thank you very much for giving us an update on your end of things. Really appreciate it, and appreciate all the work the town's doing as well during this very unusual time.
Thanks, James.
Thank you. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Mayor Paul Kelly is in self-isolation after returning from a trip outside of Canada. YourTV's Samantha Johnson had an opportunity to chat with him over the phone earlier this week. Here's a bit of that chat.
Last week, my wife and I just came back from St. Martin last Tuesday, March 10th. And when we got back, I contacted the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit MOE, Dr. Gardner, to find out if we were considered to be, at that time last Thursday, to be considered to be in isolation. However, at that time, we were advised that it wasn't necessary. I think mainly because they really hadn't got as far along as we are now. Anyway, he did email me this morning to advise me that the provincial Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Williams, had advised that anyone that had been out of the province during that, really basically since the beginning of March, did have to go into isolation. So we've had to officially today go into self-isolation. And it'll start from March 10th to the 24th. So that's the reality. And luckily, we really didn't have a whole lot of contact with people anyway, last several days. So we should probably be okay. And I'm not feeling any symptoms at all. But we certainly have to be cautious for sure.
Okay, and so talk about any recent updates then from the town as well.
Yeah. Again, one of the things that we're trying to do is be consistent across the district with regard to availability of service to residents. As of today, my understanding is that all the municipal offices across the district of Muskoka, which includes the district offices in Bracebridge, as well as Bracebridge, Huntsville ourselves, Lake of Bays, Georgian Bay, and Muskoka Lakes Township, all of those offices will be closed as of today to the public. Ours will be closing officially at 4:30 today. We'll have closed at 4:30 today. And so there will be staff, obviously, that have to work in the office to make sure that the everyday business takes place. There will be a number that will work from home. Many of them do have childcare issues as well. But we do want to make sure our staff are safe. And certainly with this ever-changing tide of the COVID-19, we really don't know from one day to the next what's going to happen. And as recently as a few minutes ago, the Premier was on TV declaring a state of emergency in Ontario. And that's only a day after he was just online, and the Prime Minister is coming on at 11:30 today. So by the time this hits the news later today, there'll probably be a whole lot more information that has come out. So it's one of those things, as we talked about yesterday, it's a really fluid situation, and you have to kind of go with it and hope that you're doing the right thing.
Once again, that's a conversation from earlier in the week. You can catch it on our Facebook page, YourTV Muskoka, or Instagram page. We are taking a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, for the business community, the impact of COVID-19 will likely be felt for quite some time. Our Scott Acton, who also sits on the board of directors for the Huntsville Lake of Bays Chamber of Commerce, is standing by. Scott, I understand you spoke with the Chamber's executive director.
That's right, James. Kelly Haywood, Executive Director with the Huntsville Lake of Bays Chamber of Commerce, has been frantically trying to book a flight to get home. I spoke to her this morning from Costa Rica.
We are currently in Costa Rica. We came down before the pandemic was announced and have been working on trying to get a flight home. And we have secured one, so we're just waiting it out. We're basically in isolation here as well. The very busy tourist town of Tamarindo is probably much like Huntsville, very quiet. Lots of people are staying home and keeping away from public areas.
And what was it like trying to get a flight home?
I mean, just a lot of waiting on the phone. Lots of communication from friends and family urging us to get back, which certainly we're meant to come back in a few weeks, so we're happy to be able to get a flight back. It's calmer here than you would think. I mean, Costa Rica is having a bit of a slower spread, if you will. So some tourists arrived last week, and we're starting to see that dissipate.
So you'll come home, but you'll obviously be locked down for a couple of weeks. But from a chamber and from a tourism perspective, I'm assuming plans are already starting to come together and how we can rebound from this.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been working here the whole time. We have excellent Wi-Fi and cellular service. So working with my team to ensure that we're able to pull together the resources for businesses. We've developed a daily email that's going out. We're obviously anticipating the economic stimulus package that's coming out this morning. And we'll be doing a lot of communication through our website. We're also taking a survey of businesses, whether you're a chamber member or not. Contact us, and we will ensure that we, include you in our list of businesses that are still providing services and how you might be doing that. Obviously, our biggest message at this time is going to be to support our local businesses. And many of the businesses in our area have, found ways to provide services, still keeping, the social distancing. I think this is a time where in our community we have to support each other more than ever. Local business needs to know that we're going to be working very hard, not only at finding the resources for them during this time and afterwards, but also we're developing strategies for certainly engaging at least our national tourism. I don't think we'll see a whole lot of cross-border travel in a while, but I think we'll see a great opportunity to reach out, within the GTA a bit more. I think you'll see a lot more people wanting to travel locally, if you will. So that will be our messaging. We just have to work together as a business community. We're open to suggestions and partnerships with anyone who wants to help us develop some plans.
Listen, Kelly, you stay safe and safe flight back, and I'm sure we'll talk next week for sure. Keep in touch.
Scott.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
Kelly. Take care. Bye-bye. So, James, as Kelly said, discussions are already underway with the Chamber and local business and trying to find a strategy to best help local business bounce back from this unprecedented situation. With that, James, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Scott. We are going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Earlier this week, it was announced that Deerhurst made the unprecedented decision to shut down its year-round resort amid the COVID-19 concerns. Today, I went to speak with resort GM Jesse Hamilton about that decision.
So we made the decision to close the resort on the 16th, so Monday. We had been monitoring, like everybody is, what's been going on sort of outside of the doors of just Deerhurst. And our hope was that as long as we felt that our guests, our employees, and our community were safe from us being open, we would continue to do that. Our numbers were climbing, which maybe was a bit surprising. The numbers of people visiting us was seeming to grow. And the decision just came down to us feeling like the environment that we might be creating was becoming one that should have been concerning, so the decision was made to close.
So tell me about those spin-offs of this, the losses, financially and employment-wise.
Yeah, I think, there are so many industries that are going to be hit hard by this. Our industry is one of them that feels it immediately. I think being hopeful and remaining hopeful is really important. So talking about losses, I don't think we can do that yet, because as quickly as we hope this thing will turn around, we'll turn the building back on, turn the lights back on, and invite all of our employees and our guests back again. So we're doing our best to mitigate all of those losses. And I hope that we figure this thing out as a global community and the resort can open up again.
How many employees are being laid off right now?
So we're close to 200 of our employees, including part-time and full-time employees, were laid off on Tuesday.
Okay, and the hope is to hire all these people back again, I'm sure.
Every single one of them, and normally our staffing levels will triple by the time July gets here, and I think that's what's going to happen.
And a bit of good news that, because out of the bad news of having to shut down the restaurant, you guys had quite a bit of food. You made a great donation, so tell me about that.
Yeah, we did. So our plan is to continuously communicate with our employees, even though they're not here working with us right now. We're doing that twice a week at a minimum, helping them to navigate what's going on. The first thing that we did was actually invite them all back to the resort because, of course, we had quite a bit of food that needed to find a place to exist and something to do with in our community that could make things maybe feel a little bit better. So we invited all of our hosts back again to sort of shop for free with all of the food that was perishable and even some stuff that obviously wasn't, that could go to good use, and the rest of that went to the local food bank here in Huntsville.
Fantastic. Yeah. Anything else you want to say on this closure and hopeful for the future?
I don't think there's much else to say. I mean, we recognize how an important part of our community Deerhurst is, and how much we all work together. And we're just looking forward to a time when the lights are turned back on, and we're inviting people from all over the world back to Deerhurst, back to Huntsville, and back to Muskoka.
We're taking our last break, but stay tuned for all the updates on COVID-19 today. Welcome back, and before we wrap the show, a quick look back on today's top COVID-19 stories. The 5th confirmed case of COVID-19 in the Simcoe Muskoka region, a man in his 60s who was tested in Orillia and recently traveled to Australia. He's in self-isolation. There are no cases yet for Muskoka specifically or for Parry Sound. Justin Trudeau announced new financial measures to help local businesses, employees, and anyone else who's been financially struggling during this time, as well as the border has been closed to non-essential travel between the U.S. and Canada. And Parry Sound announced this morning that all municipal facilities, including Town Hall, are now closed to the public. Again, we'll continue to have updates on COVID-19 situation locally here on YourTV, and we will be streaming Cogeco News live daily for the next little while, so we can update all residents on the local situation. Find that both on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under YourTV Muskoka. And that is Cogeco News. For more information on the program, head over to yourtv.tv or connect with us on social media by searching YourTV Muskoka. Remember to catch us live at 5 Monday to Thursday, and from everyone here at Cogeco News, thanks for watching.